viewers, it's April 5th. I skipped a day, just to make it clear that I'm not going to do this every day. No, I'm kidding. I just didn't end up recording anything yesterday, but I was working on... What was I doing? Well, I was reading a bunch of The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. I am about 12 pages from the end, so I stopped. I like to make a book last. I'm weird. And I was working on some crochet hats. So this is going to be a gray base version of my rainbow hat that I always wear, that you have seen in videos, that is a white background, basically, with rainbow stripes. This one's going to be a gray background with the same color rainbow stripes. I'm also going to make black background ones with rainbow stripes, and I would like to get more light colored, like pastel color versions of all the colors, because I think that would look really good with the gray or black as well, definitely with the black. So it's just like less of the bold colors, a little more muted palette. I don't have a lot of that right now. At the moment, I am set up at my little round table. It's in front of my altar at the moment, because I figured this is a nice amount of light. I have my, let me just close out my window there. I have my laptop open because my phone is still broken, so I'm using this to communicate with people in my family, whoever I need to talk to throughout the day. And so what I'm doing right now is going through my personal copy of the Unitarian Universalist hymnal. For those of you who don't know, I used to attend a Unitarian Universalist church pretty regularly, and I was the co-chair of the Green Sanctuary Committee, which was our environmental action group. And I was also on the Worship Arts Committee, which is the committee that creates the different services all throughout the year. And so I would create a lot of the pagan-based services, and as part of the environmental action team group committee, I also was a big part of planning the Earth Day services every year, which Earth Day, of course, is in April. So there were a couple years that I was doing Vlog Every Day in April where I would be talking about the Earth Day service and getting ready to do that. I haven't attended a UU church in a while, but I have been invited to come speak at a UU church in Southern Ohio. We have set the date for August, and it's going to be the Sunday following my birthday, which is perfect because we were actually planning on going to visit something in Southern Ohio in August for my birthday, which I will tell you about when we get closer to that date. I'm sure I'll be talking about it on my channel, but I will also be talking about it more on Patreon for my patrons. I like to give them a little taste of, things that I don't tell everyone. So some of the perks of sponsoring my videos on Patreon are that I tell you stuff that I don't tell everyone else, or I tell you way before anyone else gets to find out about things. Anyway, so this is me actually months in advance doing work. It's awesome for me. So I have my tea, I've got a notebook here, and what I'm doing is going through the hymnal to find readings and songs for the talk that I'm going to be giving in August. I was invited by someone who came to my Pagans Prejudice workshop at Cleveland Pagan Pride this past year. So I asked them, do you want me to give a mini talk about Pagans and Prejudice? Like, is that the specific subject that you're inviting me to come speak about? Because that's a lot of the time what people want me to come speak about. And he said, no, you can actually talk about whatever you want. We'd just like to have you come down there and talk. So I don't know if I want to do something specifically in the Pagans and Prejudice realm. It has to be a lot shorter than the workshops that I give, which are already cut pretty short because there's a lot that you could talk about. But I could give a shorter talk just about the general topic rather than going into all the definitions and theories and stuff like that. Or my personal intention for the year is truth, and I've been invited to speak to another type of group online, so I'm basically preparing a little presentation for them that is somewhat related to the subject of truth. So what I'm doing is looking up readings and hymns that have to do with various subjects. So there are actually indexes in the back of the UU hymnal. I'm using a crochet pattern as my bookmark right now. There are indexes in the back of the hymnal where you can look up readings or songs by topic. So I know you can't read this super well with this camera, but I'm going to scoot that out of the way. For example, the first topic alphabetically is acceptance of one another, which has to do with my Pagans and Prejudice type work, talking about accepting one another and educating about each other's beliefs. So acceptance of one another is probably a group of readings and songs that I'm going to be looking at, what's in that section. There's affirmation. The next one is All Souls, All Saints, and Samhain. Then we have animals, the arts. This next column has autumn and harvest. This is readings specifically, but it has the same categories for the songs. Beauty, beloved community, etc. So it makes it really easy. So what I did is I started with basically the big topic areas that I want to look up. So definitely it's going to be a pagan-centered, pagan-based service. So anything related to paganism and earth-centered paths I am going to be looking up. I'm also going to look up anything that has to do with love. Things that will have, prejudice isn't going to be a keyword in itself, but things that as I'm going through the topical list, I'm like, oh, that sounds like it could have to do with prejudice and, for example, like acceptance of one another. Oh, yeah, that clearly has something to do with that kind of work. Things like that. So as I'm going through, I'll find anything that might fit with a mini Pagans and Prejudice presentation. And then truth, because the other talk that I'm going to be doing is about truth, and my personal intention for the year is truth. So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just set up here, ready to, so I have a notebook paper, because when I find something that I like, I'm going to write down the number of it. Everything is numbered in the hymnal. So like I just opened to this random hymn that's in the section labeled Music of the Cultures of the World. I have no idea how to pronounce that name. Raghupati, traditional Hindu hymn. And it says, this prayer song, which pleads for peace between Muslim and Hindu, was used by Mahatma Gandhi at his daily prayer meetings. So it gives you little facts about it at the bottom. And this is hymn number 178. And the readings also, they're further in the back. But the readings also are numbered. And some of them are quotes. Some of them are set up as a call and response, read and respond type thing. And they're all in different sections too. This happens to be the section on wisdom and understanding. And this one here is like number 661 is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. So yeah, there's some stuff in here by Starhawk. Whole lot of different types of sources of knowledge and wisdom from different belief systems, different spiritualities. So this gives a pretty comprehensive look. This is the first hymnal. There's also a teal one now that, this is Singing the Living Tradition. I think the teal one might be called something like I don't remember. Anyway, there is a second version of this that has more hymns and more readings, and it's a much thinner paperback, and it's like teal. So this is the hardcover. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go through those things and write down the number of any readings or hymns that I feel like might be relevant to something that I want to talk about. And that's one of the ways that I begin deciding how to do one of these, especially when it's a UU service, because I like to use the hymnal in order to tap into something that they're already used to doing, rather than coming in and just like giving a lecture in the middle of a service. Because I have been on a worship arts committee at a UU church and I've created whole services, I can then pick, I can pick a chalice lighting that has to do with the subject of what I'm going to be talking about, and opening words that have to do with it, and then hymns from the hymnal, so I know that they're gonna maybe know them, but they have access to this hymnal. So instead of like having whoever pick random hymns for the day and hope that they go along with my talk, my subject, I'm just going to pick them and make sure that it all goes together. So essentially I'm creating this whole service that's going to be what goes on at their church this Sunday. And there's someone who's going to be from their worship arts committee who's going to be assigned to that date to kind of talk with me and make sure that everything gets set up. But essentially I'm just doing it all because I love it and because I've done it before. So yeah, this is how I start it when it's kind of free floating and they're like, you can talk about anything. So if there's like a reading that I love or a song that I love, that might help steer me in one direction or another. Like, oh, I'm really going to focus on the earth-centered part of my path, or I'm really going to focus on the Pagans and Prejudice type thing, or I'm really going to focus on truth and how that applies to my path, and hopefully something just interesting for them that week that'll be helpful coming from another perspective. My partner is also going to come along with me and probably play some original music because they have a lot of music that has to do with these subjects, and or they will write new things. So starting with looking through the hymnal, find out what I want to do, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, I hope you're having a good day. I will see you next time. Until then, don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.